road to a milli call. Okay, we've been doing this for over 80 freaking weeks. Are you over this? Are you tired? Are you tired of showing up consistently every single week for 80 straight weeks?
No, no burnout yet.
Yeah. So today, guys, the goal is, has this been from the very beginning, is to try to show you guys the path of creating $1 million business. And so how this call started was, the intention was to literally just like document our journey of our second location. So our first location, we started 5 years ago in October. So we're coming, no, 6 years, correct? Is it 6 years, Katie? October 2020, five.
Five.
5 years. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be 5 years. And we started October 2020, and we had no idea what we were doing. We had no systems, no processes, no goal of creating $1 million business whatsoever. In fact, the goal of that business, what was the goal of that business? Why did we start that business, Katie?
Because I needed to learn.
Yeah. Kid needed to learn. Kid needed to learn how to become a freaking business owner, right? And Logan needed to teach somebody who was willing to teach, who was willing to learn without ever having the proof that I could teach anybody anything. So it solved two problems. Katie was willing to learn and be able to take advice from somebody who had not actually done the do. Yeah, and so Katie and I started this business, and really, I was in it for 6 weeks. And then after that, I was out of the business, and I was focusing on still growing. We had a gym at the time, and was still focused on trying to buy real estate all across the country. It turned out to be a very, very silly move, but learned a lot from it. Well, Katie learned how to grow a cleaning business from 0 clients, 0 reputation, and in the matter of 3 years, took that business to over $1 million in revenue. And that is really how this call really is here today, is because probably about 2 years into that business, we started just documenting our journey of growing that business. You guys are starting to see a similar framework here. We just like to share what we're doing, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, we started sharing our journey of our first cleaning business, and we literally showed you guys exactly what it took for us to grow that business from about $40,000 a month all the way to $80,000, $90,000, over $100,000 a month. And we're like, okay, cool. We're so smart. Look at us. We know things. Hooray. And it was really the second business that we started down here in Mesa that we actually learned. Because the first business, you don't really learn much from success. That's the truth. All you learn is you think you're smart. And we found out real quickly we were not very smart. And the second location, which we started about 80 weeks ago, it taught us we were not smart. It taught us that our systems weren't as good as we thought they were. It taught us that our skills weren't as good as we thought they were. And in order for us to actually grow this business, we needed to get better. And Katie started out by cleaning. I started out by doing all the sales, all the hiring, all the talking to humans. And within 6 months, we had grown this second location from 0 clients, 0 reputation, to $40,000 in revenue in 6 months. And then at that point, we hired two office gals. And since August of last year, our office gals have actually been running the company. And then Katie and I have then transitioned into learning how to teach somebody how to hire clients, hire cleaners, and be able to communicate what is required in order for the business to actually grow without the owners actually running the business. And so our location right now does about $70,000 a month. And we actually just hired a second office person. Actually, so let me pull back a little bit. So we ended up having to fire one of the office gals who we brought in. And then the other office gal is amazing. She's still with us, doing very, very well. And she's been running the office pretty much by herself for the last probably 3 or 4 months. No, probably 2 months.
Yeah, since July. So 2.
Since July. And so now we realize that in order for this business now to go from $70,000 a month to get to $83,000 a month, which is one of the ways to measure $1 million business, which we'll talk about the other 8 ways on this call today, we realized attention was our deficit. We needed someone's attention to be able to, an additional attention put on clients and cleaners, because the capacity of our one full-time office person wasn't enough. And it wasn't a fault of her. It's just a fault of, like, if you want to get to the next level, there are certain sacrifices, certain requirements that are needed. And it was very clear. It just, like, we needed another attention. We needed another person's attention in order for us to grow to the next level. And so this is our The second ops person that we just hired, this is her second week, and so it's still TBD. What does TBD mean, Katie?
To be determined.
To be determined if she's going to work out or not. But whether it's her or we have to find somebody else, like the only way this business is going to grow is if we have the amount of attention required in order for the business to go from 70,000 to 80,000 a month, which is hiring more cleaners and filling their schedule with more clients, right? And so that is why we started this call 80 weeks ago, which is to show you guys the journey of us growing from 0 to 83K a month, which we haven't quite got there yet. But as I look back on, like, how do I continue to provide value to you guys, and how do I continue just like to give you a glimpse of like what it's required, what it takes? It's also helping you guys understand the certain milestones along the way. And so one of the people who I've been coaching for the last 2.5 years, their names are Jessica and Lucas. Anyone here know who Jessica and Lucas are? Yeah, amazing human beings, right? In fact, they were the first people I ever coached, the first person I ever let take their money. Like, I let them give me money, I should say. In fact, I told them no before I let them say yes, because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I could actually give them a return on their money. And this was back in 2023. And they basically forced me to take their money. And so, which forced me to learn how to get better, learn how to help them get a return on their money. Because at the end of the day, like that is the frame that I look through when it comes to coaching specifically, is if someone's going to give us money, do I have a clear path on do I have a clear path on being able to get them 5 times, 6 times, 10 times more money back within the first 6 months? And if I don't have a clear path, then I just usually say no, because it's not worth it to me, because I don't want people just to be like, yeah, I was satisfied. I want people to be like, dude, this was freaking amazing. This was life-changing. And I want it to be a very clear, better exchange in value. And so, and it has less to do with you guys, honestly, more to do with me and like, just like, can I help you guys? And I've come to find out there's a certain avatar who I can help. And so for this call today, understand that like, if you are this avatar, like you have a very high probability of actually reaching these goals I'm going to share with you guys. Okay. Because I've got pretty clear on exactly who I'm talking to. The first piece of the avatar is home cleaning business owner. So how many of you guys are home cleaning business owners? Yay, congratulations. That is one piece of the avatar who we can help. Okay. If you are a window cleaning business, or you're a commercial cleaning business, or you're a pressure washing business, or you're some other home service business, you can get value from concepts on this call. However, like I cannot guarantee that you're going to be able to take the strategies and the tactics we talk about and directly be able to implement it into your business. I cannot do that. I cannot guarantee that that's going to happen. And so I don't try to. And so if you guys have noticed throughout the last couple of years of the community, like eventually like in the beginning, we talked very general, and now I'm very, very specific. Home cleaning business owner. Okay. So if you're a home cleaning business owner, like you'll get the most value. If you're not a home cleaning business owner, by all means, you can still listen. You can still you can still try to implement the advice. It's just not going to be as like specific and tactical of like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay. So second piece of this, okay, because just home cleaning business owner isn't enough. The second one, you must actually have a desire to build a $1 million business. Now, most people are like, well, duh. But please listen for a second, because not everybody actually desires to have a $1 million business. And so here's the avatar who would not necessarily qualify that we can help. If your goal is to just make money in this business and to not acquire skills, which really just means if you're focused more on earning than you are learning, we cannot help you. Because the requirements to build a $1 million business are skills. And they're skills that you don't have. And here's a way for you to measure if you have the skills or not. Open up your bank account, click into your business checking account or your savings account, and you'll very quickly be able to tell if you have the skills to build a $1 million business. And I mean that just in like the most like straightforward way as possible, because sometimes people are like, well, I have the skills. I'm like, prove it, show me. Like it just becomes a game of proof. Okay. And that's actually my goal today, is to show you guys, in fact, the opposite thing. How many of you guys think that you don't have $1 million business? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you don't have $1 million business. Raise your hand. Yes. Renee, Dina, Anna, Megan. You might. And I'm going to show you 9 different ways that you guys can measure it. And I bet you someone like Renee Krause, Anna Harris, you guys already do. I'm going to show you a way how you can measure it. Okay. Okay. So before we get into it today, though, questions. We're going to save a couple minutes at the end of this call for questions. So if you guys do have questions specifically on what we're talking about today, please ask questions in the chat. Katie's going to be skimming the chat for great questions, and we're going to answer these questions at the end of this call. Okay, make it a little more interactive. So if you guys do have ideas, you're like, I need to have a explanation for this thought or this concept, please ask questions, and they might just get answered in the chat, or we might be able to pull them out and be able to give a little bit more context to these questions. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the 9 different ways that you can measure if you have a $1 million business or not. Okay. Also, I created a PDF with everything we're talking about today, and I created videos. I created walkthrough videos, so you guys should actually just take these videos and actually go do this after this call. So if you guys are like, man, I really want to do this after this call or sometime after this very moment, like, I got you. On the Road to a Million replays. So if you guys are inside the paid community, go into the classroom, go to Road to a Million replays, and once this is uploaded tomorrow, James will not only post the video, but he's also going to post the doc, and there's 9 different Loom videos that I created actually walking through exactly how to measure all 9 of these things. Okay? Yeah. This is what I do on my weekends. I'm like get excited. I was so excited. I'm like, Katie, you should see what I just did. It was so fun. And then for you guys who are inside the free community, you guys also can also do this. If you guys go into your school classroom modules, go to Road to Million replays, they will also be in there. They're not in there right now. They're not in there right now. Tomorrow, don't be yelling at me. Where's the replay at? Where's the replay at? People are like, where's the replay? Where's this doc at? You promised me free things, and you haven't got me free stuff yet. I'm getting angry. Welcome to free shit. It's amazing. You just want more. Oh, sorry, Julia. Sorry. Free stuff. Free sheet. This call will be uploaded tomorrow, and our notes that Katie and I are using to do this call will be on there with video links, so you guys can actually measure your business. You can come up with all the different ways that you guys can measure when you guys have reached a $1 million business. Okay. So before we get into this, let me explain how this actually came to be. Because I actually was on a call last week with Anna Harris, which was awesome. So Anna Harris is on here. Love this. I'm so grateful that you guys show up to this. I love that the people inside the coach community, the one-on-one clients, like all the success stories you guys see are on this call. And I want you guys to like really pay attention to this, because I think this is so important, is that success leaves clues. The successful people don't just sit in their success and be like, look how successful I am. They continue to learn, they continue to grow. And that's why they are successful, is because their definition of success also just raises once they hit a milestone. And that's exactly what I'm gonna show you guys today, is how your definition of $1 million business is gonna continue to raise each time that you hit one of these milestones. And so last week it was so cool. And so some of you guys had the opportunity to be there and some of you guys didn't, and that's okay if you weren't. But if you were, like, you guys are very fortunate to be able to hear Anna Harris talk about her journey of going from being in debt to freaking stacking cash, right? And so if you guys were not able to be on that call, like it was so powerful and so inspirational that I'm not even gonna do it justice by sharing your numbers, because if you guys weren't there, then like I would do a bad job. But let's just say it was a significant amount of debt, and in 4 months, she has stacked a significant amount of cash, okay? However, it was really cool because we were talking about our financial goals. And so one thing that I realized, that after we solve the problem of people building $1 million businesses, we have a second problem. What is the problem that we have, Katie, after we create $1 million businesses?
What do we do?
What do we do with the money we make? They're like, oh my God, I have all this money. Should I go buy boats and cars and stuff, right? It's like, no, we shouldn't do that, okay? And so we should have a financial plan, just like we had Just like we had a game plan to grow $1 million business, now we need to have a game plan to actually create $1 million. Ooh, wouldn't that be crazy if you guys had $1 million business that actually created $1 million? And that's actually the connection. Okay, boom, connection. That is the real goal. However, you can't just say, let me show you how to have $1 million. Let me show you how to build a business, and then how to use that business, that vehicle, that asset, to then turn it into $1 million. Okay, and so this is what we've been doing with Decade a Day. And so we've done 2 Decade a Days now, group Decade a Days, and now we're doing a 3rd one coming up on October 26th. And I only share this just to give you guys context. It's already full. In fact, we have one person who's trying to wiggle in last minute, even though we're full. She's like, just please let me come. We're full, so don't even ask. Okay. But the whole point of this Decade a Day is to be able to help people who are building into our businesses be able to understand the game plan for once they have this vehicle that's producing income and money. What do you do with the money? How do you create financial freedom in your life? Which, does anyone want to have the ability to be free? And how I label financial freedom is not just money. It's money plus time. And so that is what the gist of Decade a Day is, which is creating financial plans that gives you the money, that you use the money to be able to buy back your time with people who are then going to be the ones who operate your asset that's producing money, and this still kicks off enough money for you to have all the things that you want in life, plus, right? And so Anna Harris is one of the first people who came out to Decade a Day. And in fact, we were actually doing this plan before Decade a Day. She was the one who helped me, as Katie was the one who helped me be able to learn how to coach people. Anna Harris was the one who helped me teach how to start learning how to teach people the financial system that we're currently using to help other people. Okay. And so we've been doing this since April, I think, Anna, right? I think April we've been doing this. So not very long. Again, April, May, June, July, August, September. So only 6 months. So it's only 6 months that I've been teaching somebody else how to do this. However, Katie and I, how long have we been doing this system for, Katie?
Since I think I quit my job in 2017. So that was when we combined finances, and beginning of 2018.
Yeah. So I have it tracked at least since 2018. I think in the very beginning we didn't track it, but I have it tracked since 2018. So we've been doing this for almost 7 years. We've been using the system, and yeah, it's helped us. However, even in the short little bit in the time that I've been teaching other people to do it, the system's got so much better because it's not just Katie and I situation, but now we're using it with Anna, Jessica Lucas, Renee, other people who have had the opportunity, who've given us the opportunity to be able to help them, has made the system better. And so it's just giving me a lot of clarity on what is required in order for people to actually be able to create financial freedom in their lives. And so part of these financial plans is we have three different tiers. Okay, we have a plan to be secure, we have a plan to be comfortable, and we have a plan to be rich, right? And so it was really cool. Anna Harris and I were talking on our call last week, and she had just met her plan to be secure. I was like, wow, it's so cool. Or Anna was like, this is so cool. She's like, now what? I was like, next goal, comfortability, right? And it was in that conversation that she asked me the question. She's like, well, is the comfortability for the money in the bank account, is it just total liquidity, or is the number just in my business bank account? And I was like, that is a great freaking question. And I was like, it's a sequence. I was like, it can just be total liquidity first, and then once we hit it with total liquidity, then it can just be in the business bank account or in the savings account, excuse me. And then it got me thinking. I was like, that's exactly the same concept as it is when we're trying to become $1 million businesses. Who in here wants to have $1 million business? Right? And so what if I told you that there is different sequences along the way that you can actually show today that you actually have $1 million business today, and now you just need to do the next level of becoming $1 million business. Yeah. And after I was doing this, and once you guys get the opportunity to go watch the videos, you'll see that our Montana location is actually has three more ways that we can hit, 3 more milestones to hit, to say that we're actually $1 million business, right? And so we just continue to level up. And so let me share with you guys now. You guys ready now? You guys ready? If I sold it, you guys good to go? You guys good? Okay. So this is where it came from. And so we're gonna start with the first way, which this is like, these are gonna go in order of I would say easiest to hardest, okay? And so the first way that you can measure, if you've known our business, is lifetime revenue. Okay, lifetime revenue of your business. And so here's how you measure this, is you go into your QuickBooks, your accounting software. If you don't use QuickBooks, you have some other accounting software, and you go to all dates, and you click that all dates button, and all of a sudden it pops up. And if you guys have been in business for a decent amount of time, like Dina's been in business for a long time, 20 plus years, Renee's been in business for 10 plus years, high probability, you guys already have $1 million business. Lifetime revenue. You've produced over $1 million in the home cleaning business. That's actually pretty cool. Like, that's the first way. Lifetime revenue. And so when you guys go and do this, you're like, wow, like I actually created $1 million in my business. Pretty cool. Okay. And then you're gonna start to see the second factor. It's gonna be within a specific period of time. And so if you've created $1 million in your business and you've been in business for 5 years, as an example, that means your business is averaging about $200,000 a year. So the next question, so the way that I look at this, here's what I want to be able to portray to you guys is like, this is actually how I make goals that seem unfathomable and how I see myself that like, I can do it. In fact, I've already done it before. This is exactly how. I say, okay, if this hypothetical example is me, I'm like, okay, now I've done $1 million. Now I've done it in 5 years. So I've built $1 million business, but the time in which I've done it is just, like, I'd rather, like, how do I compress 5 years into 1 year as an example? What do I need to do? And then like, that's the start of the question that I need to ask myself. It's like, it's just speed. It's just a speed game. I'm just slow. I'm too slow right now. And so that is the first measure of like, if you guys want to know actually how to build our business, most likely, Kitty, what is their problem? We talk about this all the time.
Speed.
Speed. The people who have known our businesses, they act fast. So let me give you an example. Speed. Man, I don't know if this person is on here right now, and it doesn't matter if they are or not, but we had a conversation. They were just getting signed for one-on-one coaching. And when I sign people for one-on-one coaching, I just ask them, tell me about your business. Tell me how many cleaners you got. Tell me about the office staff, who's in the office. And then this particular person was just like, oh, it's just me in the office. I was like, oh, what about a VA? They're like, no VA. And they're doing about $40,000 a month. And I was like, oh, no VA. I was like, you should hire a VA. She's like, I'm going to hire them in October. And then she started to explain why. I was like, okay, cool. So this was like the moment after this person gave me money. I was like, okay, cool. Now I got you. You gave me money. I get to tell you what to do now. And I get to follow through and make sure that you actually do it. Congratulations. For all you guys who give me money, this is what you have committed to, is now I can tell you what to do and I get to follow up with you and make sure you do the thing. And I was like, okay, cool. No. After this call, you're going to go hire a VA. We're not waiting 2 weeks. We're doing it now. So there's your first level of homework. Go hire a VA. And then you just see the fear, the disbelief. And I was like, let me explain why. Okay. I was like, the level, like if you want to grow this business from 40,000 to 80,000, like everything you're doing is good. And by the way, this person was already inside our community. She's already using our systems. And so she actually just needed the next level. She just needed speed. She just needed somebody to tell her what to do and just help her get through the fear of doing things that she hasn't done at a speed required in order to get them, in order for her to actually grow. I was like, let me give you an example. And so if you wait till 2 weeks to do this, for something that you could do today, you can make the decision today and get it done. And then in 2 days later, you're going to have a new decision that's going to come in front of you that you're going to be able to decide, should I wait till October to do this, or should I do this one today too? And so here's the reality, is that people who wait till end of week, like this is like Alex has a great YouTube video on this, but the people who wait till end of week, instead of wait till end of day instead of getting things done end of day, are the ones who you can make 4 more decisions. If you do this on a Monday as an example, because today is Monday, if you guys waited for a decision today, you guys waited till end of week to get it done versus getting it done by end of day, there's 4 more decisions that are going to pop up that you don't even realize that are decisions to be made, that if you continue to use that same framework, that same decision filter, you could get 4 more big decisions made. And that way by Friday, when it comes up, there'll be a whole new set of decisions that you'll need to make. And that's how you get things done faster, is you make decisions quicker. And once you know you need to do something, it's done in a day, not in a week, or not in 2 weeks, or in 3 weeks. And so this is something to be very aware of, is to account for how quickly you make decisions. And by the way, I do this. Katie, do you do this sometimes? Do you push things off?
Yes.
Right. And so this is not whether you do it or not. It's just how well do you do it. And again, it'll be measured in your business revenue. It'll be measured in your profits. It'll be measured in your savings account. It'll be measured in these other places. And so it's a really good indicator of how quickly you move. Is going to be dependent on like your outcomes. You guys can't see this in my office, but I have a it's right above me. I have this frame. I have this frame of this poster. I have one poster in my office outside of these fancy little plaques of other people who've got million-dollar businesses, which I'm going to share a little bit more here in a moment. But I have one poster in my office that you guys cannot see, and it was given to me by a friend / mentor named Dr. Kashi. It was probably like 3 or 4 Christmases ago, and it's a life calendar. And the life calendar shows you when you're going to die, and it shows you where you're at. And so every day I walk in here, I see where I'm at and when I'm going to die. And I see every day I just get closer. I just get closer. And at the very bottom, it says, wait, but why? And it's just always top of mind that, like, guys, we're going to die. And every day that we wait is another day that we're waiting to live the life of our dreams. We're waiting to like live out what is possible. Because at the end of the day, like, what's the point of like getting to our goals and then dying right when we reach them? Like, let's actually live some of the life having accomplished the goals. And really the cool part is like, the goal is what the accomplishment is. Like, that's the fulfillment, that's reward. It's the stories that go with it. It's the confidence that comes with overcoming adversity and the challenges. And so why are we waiting for that? Speed. And the reason I'm sitting on this one for a very long time, okay, because it's probably the most important one, is that most people in here have done a lifetime revenue of $1 million. You just haven't done it fast enough. And if you can figure out how to get faster, and one of the best ways to get faster is to change your decision filter of like, I'll get it done. I'll hire someone next week. I'll hire someone tomorrow. I'll hire someone at the end of the month. I'll set up a new campaign. I'll hire that coach. I'll do this thing. Today, now, right now. Telling you, like, the speed to your decision-making filter is the speed at which you get to $1 million. So let's talk about the second one. Okay, so we have number 1, lifetime revenue. Katie, share the second one. What is the second way to measure if you have a $1 million business?
Producing $3,846 in one day. So having a $1 million day rate.
If you guys actually went and measured this, there's a high probability that a bunch of people on here have actually achieved this number. You probably build $3,800 in a day. Okay, and if you do $3,800 times 5, that's $19,200. And if you do that times 4.33, that's $83,000. And if you do $83,000 times 12, that's $1 million. So as Katie talked about it, as she shared it, that's your $1 million revenue per day run rate. Okay, so this is the second way you can measure if you have a $1 million business. And so the way that I think about this, and this happened with Mesa, is the first day that I saw that we hit $3,800, I was like, how do we just do that 5 days in a row? That's all we gotta do. We should do it 5 days in a row. Because if we do it 5 days in a row, then we'll hit our third way to measure if we have a $1 million business, which is what, Katie?
$1 million week. And that week is 19,230.
There you go. And so the third way to measure if you have a $1 million business is the $1 million week. Okay. And so this is something that I should talk quite a bit about. And if you guys have been on this call, like, I've definitely celebrated this. This has been the headline for quite a few of our calls, is we hit the $1 million weekly run rate. Okay, which is $19,000. You know, to be specific, $19,230. But by doing this, if you've hit $19,000 in a week, it means you've done it. It means you've done what's required. It means it's possible. Now what, Katie? Once you've done it once, then what?
Do it again.
Do it
One more
again.
times.
And so that's the next level is you've done it once, but can you do it again? Right? And the irony in this whole situation is that Mesa, our second location, we actually have not done this 2 times in a row. Right? We've actually done it 4 times total. We've actually hit $19,000 4 times total. They just have been in all different months. Okay. And so doing it again, that's the goal. And in fact, if you can do it 4 weeks in a row, what is our 4th way of earning the right to call ourselves a $1 million business?
You can stack 4 weekly rates together of 19,000. You will hit an $83,000 month, which is the $1 million month rate.
Yeah. So exciting, right? And so you guys can see behind me, you can see all these little plaques behind me. That's what most of these plaques are behind me. Actually, like besides that big one. The big one is $166,000 a month. That one's double. One's double. That's a $2 million run rate. But the rest of them are people inside the community who have hit $83,000 in a single month, right? That's a pretty big milestone. That's the one that most people think of when they think of like, what is like, if you have $1 million business, they usually will equate it to the monthly run rate. So that's the one that gives the most love and attention. And honestly, like it's a very difficult one to do. It's very difficult to hit $19,000 a week for 4 weeks in a row. Okay. But it's not as difficult as the 5th way. Katie, what is the 5th way that you can earn the right to call yourself a $1 million business?
Consecutively hit 12 months in a row of $83,000, and you will have $1 million revenue produced in 1 year. So a trailing 12-month production of $1 million.
Yeah. So this one, how we determine this one, for example, today is September 22nd. So if I open up my accounting software of QuickBooks, or you could actually do this under your cleaning program. You could use ZenMaid or Jobber or Housecall Pro or whatever silly cleaning software that you use. And if you just look at your revenue produced from September 22nd, 2025, all the way back to September 22nd, 2024, it'll give you the trailing 12 months. And so when your business is growing, this is the most up-to-date, accurate way to determine like what your last 12 months revenue is. And so, yeah, this is like once you hit $1 million here, it is the 5th way. And honestly, out of all the ways we talked about, it's the hardest way that you can do in order for you to earn the right of having $1 million business. And the timing on this one is so cool. I think I saw Jessica just got on here. So Jessica and Lucas, they're on here right now. They were the first people who were giving me money back in 2023, and their business was doing $13,000 a month. In the previous, in their trailing 12 months revenue at that point was like $200,000 for the year, right? And fast forward now 2.5 years later, on our call this morning, right before this call, they eclipsed $1 million in trailing 12 months. Wild, 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 wild. And so it's crazy how hard it is to get there, but how quickly you can get there when you actually have the steps and you have clarity on what it takes to get there as well at the same time. Because Jessica and Lucas had been in business for 10 years before I met them. 10 years to get to 200,000, 2 years to get to $1 million. And what we talked about earlier on the very first way was like their speed has just, it's 5x'd. It's quite literally 5x'd. That's how they've got here. They've increased their speed to make decisions. They've increased their speed to hire. They've increased their speed to invest in their education, to invest in their skills. And that's how they went from $200,000 a year, took them 10 years to get there, to over $1 million in 2 years. Crazy.
That's actually
crazy.
Insane.
It actually is crazy. It is crazy. But the truth behind it is just like they also had clarity. They knew exactly what was required. They had these milestones. Like these are the things that I helped them go through, which unbeknownst to me, it's more clear now thanks to them and thanks to the Renees and the Anna Harrises and the people who I've had an opportunity to coach, like thanks to you guys, like I now have more clarity on how to systematize this so we can like predictably do this over and over again. And so you guys can, and for the people who are not doing one-on-one coaching, you guys can still get the system and process in a call like this and have it be clear enough that you can actually follow it and for you to be able to get the same value. Right? So thank those guys. So how cool is that though? Trailing 12 months revenue. And I think Jessica and Lucas, I don't know if they posted already, but they'll make a post inside the group. And yeah, just very, very inspiring. So way number six. What's way number six, Katie?
Within a calendar year. So let's just say 2024, January 1st through December 31st of 2024, producing $1 million in revenue.
Yeah, so this one, you only get a chance at it once a year. That's why it makes it a little bit more difficult. And so the trailing 12 months revenue, again, you can always go back 12 months. With the annual revenue, it's like you'll have one chance to hit $1 million within 2025, guys. And if you only do it this year, you got to wait till 2026 to do it in an annual calendar year, which makes this one even more difficult. Right? Even more difficult. And so we've been very fortunate that in Bozeman, we hit our first annual revenue in 20. Oops, did I go? Am I still here?
Yeah, here.
Okay. In 2023, our Montana location hit its first annual $1 million revenue rate, right? And then of course it did in 2024, and in 2025 we hit $1 million in August, right? So we already did it, and so it's cool that again, as you start to see it once, then all of a sudden it just becomes the standard moving forward. Okay, and all these things stack on each other. All these things stack on each other. Now, number 7. This is the one that we've actually got pretty close to, but we haven't hit yet. And so, Kitty, after getting $1 million annual revenue, what is way number 7 to say, I have $1 million business?
We're going to switch now from using the term revenue to actually profit. So the 7th way is to have a $83,000 profit month.
Yeah. And so while 6 and 7, there's only 6, 7. All right. Kids. If you guys have kids, you guys know. If you don't have kids, you're like, what? You know nothing. But actually, you know more because you don't have kids. Let's put it that way. But anyway, the difference between 6 and 7 is pretty significant. Like if you have $83,000 a month in revenue versus having $83,000 a month in profit, like big difference. But once you've done the $1 million in revenue, your next milestone is $1 million in profit. Okay? And so, yeah, this one's very simple. It's just instead of it being the top line $83K, you got the bottom line. So this was a $1 million month, and yeah. So when you guys go watch the videos, actually walk you through exactly how to see if you have a $1 million profit month. Yeah, that's a pretty big goal. And so we're still working on that one. A couple months ago, we actually got pretty close, but still working on that one. That's the goal. That's the goal. So there's still more goals to shoot for once you even hit the $1 million. And that's the reason that I stress to like the Jessica Lucases and the Kayla Irbies and the Jacintas and the Julias, everybody in here who's already hit the $1 million revenue marks. Like it's just one of the milestones. Like it's just a milestone. Okay. And then number 8, Katie, what's number 8?
Yeah, number 8 is $1 million in profit in a year. So trailing 12 months in your accounting software to show you that the bottom line produced $1 million.
Yeah. And so this is a big one too. So if you can actually profit $1 million, that's a pretty big goal. And so again, trailing 12 months revenue, and you just take it back. And if you can say that you have $1 million of profit, you got a good business. And for revenue targets, for you guys who are like, I don't even know what that would take, right? For revenue targets, you need to be doing probably around $5 million of top line. So when you're doing about $5 million of revenue, if we anticipate that we have a 20% margin, that would equate to about $1 million in profit. So if you guys are like, okay, well, I can understand revenue, then make it your goal to shoot for $5 million in revenue, and then you'll be able to potentially have the opportunity to take home $1 million. And then way number 9, Katie, the last and final way at least that we're going to determine on this call, of how to earn the right to say you have $1 million business?
That would be $1 million of profit in a calendar year. So going back to the previous example, January 1st, 2024 through January 3rd or December 31st, 2024 would show $1 million of profit. So bottom line.
So very similar to we talked about with revenue. You only got one chance to do this every single year. And so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. So if you can actually take home $1 million in a calendar year, like, that's a milestone, right? Something to continue to shoot for and to strive for. And so I think the reason why this is important is because every single person on this call right here, you're somewhere within number 1 and number 9. Even Katie, even I, okay? We're somewhere in between here. And so we're all shooting for $1 million businesses, right? You guys all shooting for $1 million businesses? And so we just have these milestones that's like, what's the next milestone? And so, for example, our Mesa location hasn't hit $1 million in lifetime revenue yet. We're at
912,000.
912,000. So with Mesa, we're like, even though we've hit the $1 million day, the $1 million week, and the $1 million week, yeah, we haven't hit lifetime revenue. So we're actually trying to hit that lifetime revenue one. So we'll hit that one in the next couple of months. And then along the way, we're going to try to hit that $1 million month. And then after we hit the $1 million month, then we're going to hit the $1 million trailing 12 months. And then we'll hit the trailing $1 million 12 months, and we'll try to do it within the calendar year. And then we'll switch our focus. Not only switch our focus, but that'll be the next goal, is like, how do we make $1 million of profit from this location? And we start that by being like, let's hit the monthly run rate. This is $83,000 in profit in a month, right? Which means we got to make about $400,000 in revenue. It's easy, right, guys? $400,000. It's nothing. It's just speed, right? And the more that we understand, it's like, a lot of times we don't think we can do that because we're thinking about that we have to do it. We got to be the one who's doing the phones. We're the one who's got to be answering the clients and cleaners. But like, you're not going to do $400,000 a month with you doing those things. It's by you coaching the people on doing those things. You just got to coach enough of those people. You have to have enough courage to put yourself in a situation where that's actually the opportunity. It takes courage, which last week we talked about the skills required to build a business. You guys starting to see how these like kind of stack on each other, right? Like, skills are required in order for you to build a business. Clarity is required in order for you to actually get to $1 million business. Understanding, like, just check, if you just check these milestones off and you just make progress, next thing, like, if you just make progress for a long enough period of time, you end up becoming $1 million business.
And if you just make progress a little bit faster than you historically have, you'll get there quicker.
So cool. Okay. So questions. Again, if you guys have questions, post them in the chat ski. Just as a reminder for everybody who got on here late or weren't paying attention, the 9 ways to measure give $1 million business will be uploaded in the school community, both the paid community and the free community, in the classroom under Road to $1 Million replays. Okay, you can listen to this replay along with the other 79 calls we've done up to this point. But specifically on this call, there will be the notes that Kate and I used, and there'll be videos doing walkthroughs of showing you exactly how to measure each one of these in your business, and actually use our businesses as an example, so you actually can see exactly how to create lifetime revenue, how to see if you have $1 million day, how to see if you have $1 million week, $1 million monthly revenue, a $1 million trailing 12 months, $1 million annual revenue, $1 million profit, a trailing 12 months profit, and then annual profit. Okay, I'll walk you through all those videos. So again, they'll be uploaded tomorrow. So if you're listening to this over a podcast, it's already in there. But if you're watching this call live right now, like, sorry. Speed. Let's have James do it today, right, guys? Why wait till end of tomorrow? Let's have him do it today. Let's take our own advice, Logan. How come you guys aren't calling me out? I hold you accountable, no one holds me accountable. What's wrong with you guys? Hold me accountable to do the same things I just told you to do. By golly. James, are you on here? We're getting this done by end of day today. We're changing the system. Okay? James is on it. There you guys go. James is going to do it for you guys. He's going to get it done by end of day because he's going to show you what's required. And James has been with us for almost 3 years. James knows. Fast, speed. James is valuable because of speed. And I let him know every day, like, James, thank you. You're so fast. You're always on it. You are more valuable the faster you are. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for holding me accountable to being fast as well. I only wish to lead by example. That is my only goal in life, just to be able to say things that I've done rather than things that I wish to do or that I could have done 20 years ago. Back in high school, I was really something. My best years are in front of me, and I believe your guys' are as well. And if you believe that, you can make it come true. Cool. Kitty, you got any questions in here?
Julia says she has a question,
Julia.
but she didn't say the question. So she raised her hand. Ask the question,
Oh,
Julia.
sorry. Do you want me to type it? Oh, I can type my question. Okay, here's my question. I am just thinking about how to get more out of our pipeline stages. And I'm just curious if you've ever done an integration with Go High Level and Zapier and MailChimp to nurture quote calls, quotes that you've sent but not closed, to have like a nurture sequence of, I don't know, like 5 touches over 20 days or something like that. Have you ever done any like email integration or even with new leads? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like how to get more out of each of those stages.
So I'm going to answer this question, but I'm also going to make sure that I get better directions next time. The questions that we're going to answer on this call are going to be specific to the content we talked about today. So my bad.
I like this. I'm going to actually argue that this is specific to today because she wants to get to her leads faster and get them closed faster.
I can make it, I can turn it into that. I'm just like, I wasn't clear. Just like the questions that we do ask on this call need to be about specifically what we talked about today, which is speed. So we're going to talk about the game of speed. How do we get to our leads faster? Okay. And so this actually goes back to attention. So to answer your question, all the automation stuff. Okay. Every entrepreneur on here has this vision of passive income, passive automation, passive outreach system that just magically has money show up in our bank account and leads get closed and we don't do anything about it. We just like send out a message and people just give us money. And the more that we get rid of this farce of this belief that it's passive or that we can just automate something and it'll get done, it sets a proper expectation. So to answer your question, Julia, yes, like in many businesses before, we have tried to do all the automation sequences and all the stuff, okay? It doesn't work. It doesn't work because someone's not paying attention to it. And ultimately, it just needs attention. So what I'd recommend in your case, because again, like you're somebody who I coach, you're somebody who I have context on, so I can give you very specific advice, is like, it's very simple, speed to lead. So your office person, which for all you guys who don't know, but her name is Shakira, right? Like her job is lead come in, she call lead. The faster that happens, you don't freaking need all this stupid ass automation. Just lead come in, call lead, talk to them, close them. Like that's what you need. Like that is more important than you building at this long drawn out 20-step process of these automations. Okay.
I think she also mentioned these are quotes that were performed and the client said, let me think about it, maybe later. No.
Yeah. So to give context to that specifically is inside the training, I'd recommend sending just a follow-up message, one follow-up message. And then after that, how we follow these people is through internal marketing. So every single week we text our no for nows and we text our think about it's. And that's how they get followed up with, is we just send them new offers and new deals. So that's how they get followed up with without having to do this random automation stuff that makes everything complex.
And that's better because somebody is paying attention to it. They send the message when they have the availability and they can follow up with it right then and there. So it's essentially the manual version of automated follow-up is internal marketing.
Yeah. So, and that's where we get to marry the automation to the manual. But again, like nothing's ever 100% passive. And the more that we can understand that there's always an active piece of that. The active piece is that we're going to send the first internal marketing campaign and then people are going to respond to it. And then when they respond, we're going to call them. We're going to text them. We're going to be as quick as we can to respond to those messages. And people who don't respond, it's going to automatically send them, to all the people who don't respond to that initial campaign, it's going to automatically send them a campaign the next day that says, curious if you saw my last message. And then a certain percentage of people will respond to that automated message. And then we need to respond manually to that message and call them and text them and say, I got one spot. And then the people who don't respond to the first 2 messages, we're going to send a third automated message that needs to be manually responded to and says, actually, I don't have any spots this week, but I can get you in for next week. And then we're just going to repeat that process every single week. So we're going to manually start the process, and then we have some automation that's going to help us. But the most important piece to the conversion, like Julie, like the difference between you converting versus other people converting is your speed. Like you actually are very, very fast, right? Now your just business has gotten like you're going to do $85,000, $86,000 this month. Like you and just one other person in the office. So like it just becomes it just comes like you're a victim to the amount of people who need you, clients and cleaners, right? And now a third and an office person. And so helping Shakira be able to prioritize, if right now the season is we need to fill cleaners schedules, then prioritizing speed to lead. That's what we need. That's the communication that you need to give to her so that she can actually be able to be focused on that. And then sometimes things got to go. Like I think the way that Layla, the analogy is like some things are going to be set on fire, and like these are just like little dumpster fires. You have to let burn. Like we all want to like put dumpster fires out, but like you just got to let them burn under your feet, so you can smell it, you can see it, but you got to leave it be because it's not a priority. So cool.
Yeah, Kayla, this is a great point. Kayla just put cold calls. She can't get off the phone in time. Like she's spending too long on calls.
Oh, can I do this real quick? Can I do this because
Yeah.
this is the perfect example. This is a perfect example. Okay, ready? We got to set the frame. So when you get on a quote call, you say, okay, Kitty, I got about 20 minutes and my goal in this 20 minutes, I want to know exactly what you're looking to do. I want to know exactly what you're looking to get it clean. And by the end of that 20 minutes, if everything sounds good, I'm going to get you signed up and get you on the schedule so we can get you booked. Does that sound fair to you?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Amazing. Boom. Now we're in it. Okay. And so I'm going to do the same thing right now. Hey guys, I got 3 minutes and I got to get my next call. So I got 3 minutes and I have to get off because I have another call that I got to get on. And so Randy, I see your hands raised. You got 3 minutes. Go.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me here, Katie. I didn't mean to hang up on you last week, by the way. I'm sorry. I tried to pop back onto our call and I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean to hang up on her. But
you're good. Randy, we got 3 minutes. Let's go, my friend. Let's go.
Hey, so I've been thinking about that question all weekend. You broke down a lot of really good numbers. What would my team look like in order to make $3,800 a day? Like cleaners to my ad spend. And I know it's going to vary between different dates, but I'm trying to work backwards. So I want to know what that structure would look like to have that type of day.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's actually a tool that we use inside the community. It's called the $1 Million Calculator. The $1 Million Calculator, again, another tool to give you clarity on exactly what a $1 million business looks like. And so that calculator actually shows you how many cleaners that you need, how many cleaners they work on average, how many hours that the cleaners collectively work, and that's going to tell you the cleaner side of it. And then the client side is going to tell you what is your, like, you're going to find your average revenue per clean. And then from there, you're going to figure out how many cleans you need to do every single week in order for you to determine how many clients and how many cleaners do I need in order for me to get the revenue of $3,800 a day, $19,000 a week. And so it all goes back to math and goes back to clarity. And so if you
there's a blueprint in there, Randy. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send you the training. But it's exactly what you just asked. It's reverse engineering the outcome that we're looking for, and what does the team actually look like? What are the inputs required to produce $3,800 a day?
Yeah.
The simplest way, let me just do a quick math problem. 3,800, how much do you charge per hour, roughly?
I haven't started yet. I just
60. Let's just say you're going to charge $60 an hour. So 3,800 divided by 60. 3,800 divided by 60 would be 63 hours. So you need to have 63 working hours performed in order to actually produce $3,800. So let's say on average, your cleaners work 6 hours a day. We're going to divide that by 6. You would need 10 cleaners to produce $3,800.
Okay.
But the blueprint does this for you. So it's all reverse engineered. All you got to do is input what you actually want, and it kicks out all these numbers for you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great freaking question. And yeah, again, back to like everything ties together. There's so many tools, there's so many little things that tie together that even I forget about some of these things. However, there is a method to the madness, and that's exactly how Yeah, that's why the results inside the community are predictable, is because there is a method, there is a system behind this. And even if the system's not good, the system itself is a system. And by itself, it's good, or it's good enough. But then as we have amazing humans like the Julias, like the Renees, like the Maries, like the Kristens and Autumn and Ryan Dells coming to the community, like they make the system better. And it just makes it so it's more predictable, it's more predictable that we're able to achieve these goals. So thank you guys, really. Thank you. Thank you much for showing up to this call. Thank you guys for actually following through on committing to the system, making the system better, and then sharing your stories with other people, because that is what makes this thing go around. It's not just that Katie and I are doing this, but it's that there's so many other people who are also doing this, and that's what makes it real. Although Katie and I are real, just so you guys know, most people don't think we're real, but we are. We're just normal human beings. Honestly, that's the reason why we're able to connect with you guys, because we've been in your exact same spot. The exact same pain. We just got through it. We just kept pushing.
Quicker,
faster. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for showing up today. 80th freaking Road to a Million call. We'll be on here again next week. Hopefully you guys got value. Hopefully you guys like these calls. Yeah, we got to go get on our next call. But thank you guys so much for showing up today. Happy freaking Monday. Appreciate you guys.
bye-bye.